Commissioner Tim Wilshire here, round 7 and round 8 update. So let's have a look, see what's been happening in the TRSBA. The Predators have waived Alize Johnson, not a big loss. They've signed Ao Dosumanu, don't know who the fuck that is, but anyway. Tigers have signed Patrick Beverley, interesting. Not a great fantasy player, neither is JaVale McGee, so we'll see how those two guys go. Whilst the Wild Boars have signed Chris Paul to an extension.
Malfunctioning within a day, this at its scrap pile. No more adventures. This is all his fault.
So Miles Bridges played his 100th game, OG Anunoby. I'm surprised that 44 fantasy points is his career high, but you never know.
I know. You know what? I know. Yeah, I know. So you know why you're here, OG? Why am I here? Yeah, do you know why? I don't know why. So we're gonna do shopping together.
The Snipers are pretty shit at the moment. They've lost 15 in a row, Wesley Martin. What the hell is going on in the land of the Snipers? Not very good, mate. Not very good at all.
Without a rifle, I am nothing. Without a rifle, I am nothing.
Steph Curry passes Chris Bosh for 19th all time in TRSBA fantasy points. What a career for Steph Curry. Cade Cunningham finally on the board a couple of games in, decided to go with 30 fantasy points. So Gary Trent, surprised, 33 fantasy points. Dan would be very happy with that. Devontae Graham with 100 games as well. Let's have a look at these games. So we'll go to round 7 first. And the Hounds versus the Cows. Very close game here. And the Hounds came up on top with the home court advantage. 193 to 191. The Wolfhounds. They beat the Cows. And interestingly, though, Wolfhounds have, I think, in a row against the Brown Cows, which is a very, very interesting stat there. 8 games in a row, and they're fairly similar sort of scores, aren't they? So that's very, very surprising. To lead their team, Kelly Oubre, fucking girl's name. So he's 39 fantasy points, inconsistent. Westbrook 36, Vucevic 30. Who else is playing? Well, Harrison Barnes had a good season, 27 FP. Josh Giddey with his career high, 28 for Josh Giddey. Hopefully we'll talk to his dad soon.
Stories like that every day. Who's Joseph now? Giddy up.
Giddy up indeed. So on to the Brown Cows. Who do they have? I mean, Julius Randle is very consistent, great player. JB, you've done it again. He's 38 fantasy points. He's playing really, really well. RJ Barrett, 30 fantasy points. But they lost. It was a close one. But there's always next time. A close loss here for the Jags against the Dub-Dubs. Dub-Dubs finally on the board. Both teams 2-5 after this. Rudy Gobert with a huge game of 12 and 20, 4 blocks, 35, but wasn't enough. Devontae Graham had 30 fantasy points. CJ McCollum 26. Kelly Olynyk just had 11, and Kuzma just had 24. Reggie Jackson huge with 40, but still not enough. Still not enough. Aaron Gordon, Terrence Mann, these guys played well. Tate and Vassell weren't used, but how did the double-doubles do it? Well, the guy that's one of the Jonas brothers has been getting the job done, Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, John Collins, 28, Donkic 38, Buddy Hield very solid 28, NAW 23. So a couple of good performances, more than they'd usually get out of those guys. Kevin Love 24, new 32 fantasy points for Mike Connolly. Not very deep though. Preds beat the Nerds by 2, so another really close game. This one, a very close game, and the Preds used the home court advantage to beat the Nerds. So coming up here, hopefully it'll come up in a second. Let's have a look. It was Paul George again, 40 fantasy points for Paul George. He's really one of the best players in the TRSBA at the moment. Levine 36, and not a lot of other help. Predators only 8 deep here, still won the game. And Dan only had 10 deep in his on his side of things, so his was a bit low too. I think it was Harden needs to play a bit better. LeBron did play a little bit here as well, but going forward, it's going to be tough for the Red Devils. On to the next game. Boars versus the Lions, another close game. It's 3 games decided by only 2 points. The Wild Boars have won 5 in a row against the Lions. I mean, they're going well, Alabama. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I think he'd be pretty happy. So we'll look 40 for Yanni, only 27 for Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell. 48 fantasy points for Donovan Mitchell. He's unbelievable. Chris Paul, 32, leading the league in assists and 3rd all time. Grayson Allen doing well, and I think it's Melo Anthony with he's doing well. He's got 32 fantasy points. Andrew Wiggins just passed 10,000 career fantasy points. That's a very good effort. Drummond, 42 fantasy points for the Big Penguin.
What we got here, a silly penguin is back again.
No, Mr. Madison, they're not penguin. You got too much sun today. They're not penguin.
Yeah, DeRozan huge with 47 fantasy points. Booker 41 fantasy points. So not enough though. Interestingly, not enough. Seth Curry as well off the bench. Snipers and the Hurricanes. Hurricanes looking better than the Snipers at the moment. Look at this dreadful team of the Snipers. Allen 13, Plumlee 10, Reddish 21, Anthony Edwards 35, Garland just 15. The Hurricanes, Ball 43. He's looking really good, LaMelo Ball, in his second TRSBA season. They call me Mellow Yellow. A little bit of help, but that's enough to beat this other team. So you got, one team with a good rookie and another team with a good rookie, and the supporting cast just a little bit better on the Hurricanes side. Josh Hart. Next game, Saints versus Flyers. Huge win for the Saints. Dennis, be pretty happy with this. This is definitely clobbering time.
It's clobbering time. It's clobbering time.
Yeah, clobbering time indeed. 223 to 139. Consistent performance here. The biggest concern would be Magaporta Jr. just having a dreadful season. Mobley sort of slowed down a bit, but SGA and Morant, both guys with 38 fantasy points. And the Seager boy has been absolutely fantastic. Hero doing very good things as well. 32 fantasy points. The Joker 38 for the Flyers, and nothing else much going on there for the Flyers. On to the next game, the Pens versus the Butchers. The Butchers also with a bit of they're doing. I don't know if they can play much better, but 230 to 139. Bit slow here.
It's clobbering time.
Poor game from the rock DJ Robbie Williams. Keldon Johnson 16. A very dismal performance for all guys on the Penguins side of things. Brunson, their best player, with 32. Christian Wood, what a game for him. 45 fantasy points for Christian Wood.
My wood. It's my wood. If I'm falling, where I go, I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the one who's smiling next to that gentleman over there.
I don't know if they can play any better. I mean, they've got Carl Anthony Towns. They've got Wood playing really well. Bridges is a top 10 guy. Butler's a top 10 guy. DeJounte Murray's a top 20 guy. I mean, Capella has games like that. It's pretty hard for these guys to lose, and I really like the performance of. I think they definitely jumped up in the rankings. Cole Anthony, look at that, looking really good. Last game, Barbarians versus Tigers. A fairly good win for the Barbs. 249 to 179. Let's see how the Barbarians. I mean, they're struggling with some of their guys. They haven't had Siakam play a game yet, and they started Al Horford. He's the one who's been absolutely crazy. Let's have a look. Adebayo 36, Horford 32, Tatum 28, but shooting really badly. Curry 30, Lillard shooting badly, but he had a 34. VanVleet 25, Draymond's back 21, Lowry, wow, 35. He's looking quite good the last couple of games. I think you'll see Jordan Poole 38, massive game, massive win. Tigers, Sabonis 39, Scotty Barnes 34, Halliburton 22, and Fox 25. So on to round number 8. Hounds and the Lions. The Lions got the surprise win here on the road. Let's see how they did that. A big win for New York. So let's have a look how they did it. But I'll start with the Wolfhounds. Vucevic just 19, Bumba 19, so pretty slow from those guys. Barnes was 32, Sexton 26, and Russell Westbrook with 41. It's a good game for Russ. A good game from Giddy, only scoring 5, but still got 21 fantasy points. Laurie Markkinen having some good games this year, 32. Lions, how'd they do it? AD, 40 fantasy points for the big fella.
They do it, my boy AD.
That round will haunt my dreams.
Space Jam.
Yeah, obviously that's not good when Crowder has to start, but he got 25. DeRozan 46, Booker 47. He's been unbelievable lately, has Devin Booker. And Wiggins, Suggs, Curry, Rose, all guards on the bench, really. So that's a big win for the Lions, who are 4-4, same as the Wolfhounds, the Cows, and the Nerds. The Nerds got the win by 2. Very close game. Dan very happy about this one. Randall 33, Jeremy Grant 35, 35 also for JB. Walker 13, Barrett 29, Jaren Jackson I think 32. He's probably his best game of the year. Powell 32 as well. Not enough with Dan. We had Montrezl Harrell with 28, Miles Turner 29. Wow. But before he got injured though, we had LeBron.
This is
mean, I like this Red Devils outfit on the bench. We've got Barton and Schroeder, both playing well at the moment. A lot of the time, smart as well. So guard depth is really there at the moment. Forward depth, not so much. Porzingis was out for this game. Didn't need him though. Butchers and the Saints, two really big teams here. Butchers looking like they're all, they've won 7 in a row. Miles Bridges just played his 100th game. Towns just only needed 23 here. Wood 38, Bridges 32, Butler 25. But really good year for DeJounte Murray. He with 40 fantasy points in this one. Dijon mustard.
You got no mustard. It's on the door. What, this yellow stuff? No, I said mustard, Jerry. Dijon. Yes.
Cole Anthony might have to get a sound drop for him. He's just going really, really well. Look at that, 31, 9 and 8. He's only his second year in the league. Big difference maker in this one. The Saints, the Utah Saints, they had 230 points here. OG, another huge game for him, 44 fantasy points. SGA, 37. Morant, 30. Young, 38. Maga Porter, getting the rebounds, 22. Kevin Porter up and down as well, 27. Baisley somehow made the rotation into the 9 with Williamson still out and Hero having a not-so-hero game in that one when they needed him. On to the next game, the Predators versus the Jaguars. This is a terrible spot for the Jags, only 164 fantasy points. Usually, this is their lowest score of the season, I would think. Predators did hunt them down, that's for sure. Joel Embiid 32, PG 35, 39 for Beal. So big games from those guys. And Levine. So they've got 4 really good players there. Caruso probably doesn't deserve to start. Not much of a bench. They didn't need it. Jaguars, the big 2 guys, Gobert and McCollum got over their 30, but nobody else stood up in this one. Jackson 26, Kuzma out injured. Olynyk, not a lot. And not a lot from anyone else there. Vassell into the rotation. Zubac. There's a few guys coming through the ranks, but we'll see how they end up going forward. Snipers versus the Flyers. Flyers with the win on the road, 161. The 3 and 5. The Snipers have not won a game this year. They lost 15. Zaire made the rotation with 15 fantasy points, but big game for Jared Allen. 45. He has these sort of games from time to time, does Jared Allen. I mean, he's worth looking at. But on the other hand, you've got Nikola Jokic with 50 fantasy points. A huge game. Doesn't have a lot of help, though. I mean, I'm not sure how good this team is going to end up being. Brogdon did not play and only had 7 deep. Middleton was out. A couple of injuries. Leonard's out. So with those 3 guys out, Rozier had his best game for the season. Yeah, there won't be too many teams unless they get some players coming back. Hurricanes versus Tigers. A big win here for the Hurricanes. They're looking much improved. Are the Hurricanes? I'm very impressed with this win over the Tigers. Okay, another huge game for LaMelo Ball, DeAndre Hunter. Look, scoring well. So that Clarkson and Hart. I mean, they've got some players that are playing quite well. Tigers, on the other hand, their main guy, Sabonis, I think, is in the top 20 this year so far. He's going okay. 30 from Wendell Carter. Bogey 29, 22 for Lonzo Ball. Fox 26 and Halliburton. He had a 37, his best of the year.
It goes real slow, but it always wins the race. Oh God, it's a brief. Hey.
So on to the next game, we had the Dubs up against the Boars. Close win for the Boars. The Boars did not score a high one here. So that's certainly worrying for them, 192. Let's have a look why. The Dubs 187. Well, that's close to what they've been averaging for the year. They obviously deserve to lose this game, but the OC. I'm not sure how much help Luke is actually getting at the moment, Chunky. He's 40 fantasy points here, though. When Heald and sort of NAW have games like this, it's going to be hard for the double-doubles to beat teams at the moment. Let's have a look. Yeah, pretty soft bench in this one for the Boars, now on a 6-game win streak. KD and Kumbo 46-43. Bad game for Hayward. Not sure why he's starting. Maybe some injuries. Allen shouldn't be starting either. So something's going on there. Paul, Adams, Anthony, Lee, Morris. So they had to go right into their thing with Ingram and Donovan Mitchell both missing the game. So that's the reason why. I knew there was a reason. Barbs and the Pens. The Barbs also on a win streak. They've won 6 in a row against the LA Penguins. They're 9 in a row against the Pens. Steph Curry, as I said, we passed that all-time mark. Who was their best player in this one? Lillard sort of came back a bit. Did Dame? He's so anyway, not the biggest of game, but Horford has been the man. Look at that. Horford 12-12-7. Huge game for him. 3 blocks for the old fella. Tatum has been very ice cold. Steph, probably one of his coldest games of the year as Adebayo, but they've still got the job done. Good bench. Levert into the rotation. Lowry, Draymond, Van Vliet, very good. Paul didn't even make the rotation, and he's on fire lately. We had so obviously we had the Pens and the Rock DJ 20, Kelvin Johnson 22, just a consistent performance there. Cade Cunningham, Bronson 44. Now he's looking really, really good at the moment. So that's where that's going. Let's have a look at these standings. Yeah, the Butchers 7-1. I think they've sort of really playing to the peak of their powers. I don't think they can play much better, to be fair. Wild Boars, it's going to be a battle between those two at the top, I would think, at the moment. I think the middle bit, Predators, Hounds, Lions, Cows, maybe even the Red Devils, all those guys will battle it out to make the playoffs, which are 5 teams, remember. So they need to update that. The Western Conference, let's have a look. We expected the Saints. I think the Saints will be pretty happy that the 226 average with the way Magaport has been playing with no Zion Williamson. Barbarians have had missing Siakam. They've had some bad performances from both Tatum and Lillard, and they're still averaging 234. Tigers, surprised at the 3rd, but the rest of the division is looking pretty shizen at the moment in the West. All the averages are below 196. The double-doubles probably with a better average than the Tigers. Flyers really paltry average, but a lot of injuries. Hurricanes, I don't know how they've had 3 wins with an average of 143, but it tells you if you play the Snipers probably a couple of times, or the Penguins, and that happens. Penguins have won twice, and poor old Wes and the gang have basically, haven't won a game for, since last year, I reckon. So anyway, that's been the round 7 and round 8 wrap up. Next time we'll get to probably when we get to 9 and 10, we'll probably do another best. We'll go through a few stat categories and stuff like that. Thank you.